Yibane, we will build it. Olam chesed yibane. We will build this world from love. Yibane, we will build it.
Boker Tov. Good morning and welcome to today's Elul Soul Brew. Curated voices from around the world, leading you on a journey of inspiration and introspection leading up to the high holidays. I'm Rabbi Bluth, host and producer of the Soul Brews with the Beth Tzedek Center for Spiritual Well-Being. Today is our first Soul Brew. We begin on Rosh Chodesh, the new month of Elul, and we will journey together all the way up until Yom Kippur every day at 9 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or the Beth Tzedek website. And we will hear from artists, educators, performers, thinkers, and leaders from around the world, bringing us practice, wisdom, art, and inspiration. Our first soul brewer will be none other than the senior rabbi at Beth Tzedek, who will open, frame, and give us wisdom to begin this journey together. I welcome Rabbi Steve Wernick, and I'll begin with our morning question. Reb Steve, leading up to the high holidays, what is your soul brewing?
Hi, I'm Steve Wernick, Rabbi Wernick, one of the rabbis of Beth Tzedek congregation in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Welcome to #BT Soul Brew. Soul Brew is a journey through the month of Elul, the month leading up to Tishrei, to Rosh Hashanah, in which we will explore the connection between mind, body, and soul, with introspection and inspiration toward shleimut, well-being, leading to the high holy days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Part of the idea of Soul Brew comes from the Hebrew notion, the holiday notion of cheshbon hanefesh, of a spiritual accounting. A spiritual accounting. I was reminded of this recently when I went to see the dentist. It's been months since I've seen the dentist because of the pandemic. And yes, like everybody else, we had to go through the rigmarole of my health and so forth. And the dentist had it much worse than me, having to wear 3 layers of PPEs and goggles and masks and so forth and so on. But it dawned on me, I see the dentist at least twice a year to have my teeth checked. Actually, I go a little bit longer or a little bit more regularly in order to get some cleanings as well. But not only do I see the dentist regularly, but I see the doctor regularly, at least annually for my physical checkup. And I see my accountant regularly, at least annually, to review my taxes and to make sure that I'm leveraging my dollars to my advantage. And, some of us have lawyers. We talk to our lawyers when we need them. Sometimes if you're in business, you might talk to your lawyer regularly. But certainly, we talk to our lawyers every once in a while to check in and make sure that our legal affairs, especially those of us that have estate plans, that those plans are in order and all of our affairs are in order. I also have a trainer who I check in with a little bit more regularly than I do any of those other professionals. I check in with my trainer weekly in order to make sure that when I see the doctor, my physical checkup is the best that it can be. So it dawned on me, how many of us actually have a spiritual checkup? Our tradition builds it into the cycle of the holidays. Every year, in the month of Elul, we sound the shofar, and it's a call that the holiday's coming and the time is running short in order to do cheshbon hanefesh, to do our spiritual checkup, to check in to see, are we living to our best selves? Are we achieving our goals for ourselves, for our partners, for our children, for our community? And if we're not living up to our best selves, what are the ways in which we're falling short? What are the ways that we're missing the mark? And how might we transform ourselves in order to do better in the year about to begin? That's what cheshbon hanefesh is. It's a spiritual checkup. And so I want to offer, first and foremost, that all of us at Beth Tzedek, all of the leaders of the synagogue, but especially the spiritual leadership team, we are here if you want to have a spiritual checkup. Give us a call make an appointment for Zoom. We'll take a physical distance walk. We'll meet physically distance in a backyard or at the synagogue or someplace else. Whatever technology or in person that is safe and sound that we can use in order to provide a spiritual checkup, to check in with each other, to see how our neshamot, our souls are doing as this pandemic continues, and yet we enter phase 3, and hopefully we'll stay there for many months to come as science continues to progress and find a way out of this. Whatever means you want, come and have a spiritual checkup with us. We are here for you. We are here for each other. But let's say that's not for you. Maybe you just want something 10, 15 minutes every day that you can listen to, that you can watch, or that you can read. An experience that will lift your soul and have you contemplate the introspection of cheshbon nefesh, of who you are at this moment, and what are the possibilities of who you can become into the future. That's what Soul Brew is all about. Every day at 9 a.m., we're going to drop a new one from Rosh Hodesh Elul, from today until the day before Yom Kippur. The only day in which we won't be dropping new content is, you guessed it, Shabbat. Shabbat is the day of rest. It is a day of introspection in and of itself. The Soul Brew of Elul, of Cheshbon Nefesh, is the Soul Brew that is Shabbat each and every week. We hope that you'll find these experiences to be meaningful, that you'll find them to be transformative, that you'll find them to be inspirational. Just to share with you, my trainer, Niels Worth, who's a member of the shul, and who I meet with more regularly than I do anybody else that was on that list that I said, on a weekly basis. When we were talking one day just recently, and he said to me, he mentioned in passing, I have a notebook in which I keep track of life's lessons. I said, wow, that's amazing how long you've had that. Neil's been keeping that workbook for 15 years. 15 years when he has something that comes to his mind, to his experience, that he wants to record as a life lesson, he records it in that book. All right, maybe it's not a book, maybe he does it in the computer now. That doesn't matter. It's a list of the lessons that he learned. And he started to do that 15 years ago when he switched jobs, when he made a change in his career, and he was feeling a little bit down. And all he saw in front of him was despair and uncertainty. And he decided that the way in which he needed to attack that uncertainty was to remind himself of all the things that he learned from that previous job and from that previous experience that he could carry with him into the future to become a better person. That's Cheshbon Nefesh. Another congregant who I was walking with just a few days later told me that she keeps a silver linings book. She started recording all the silver linings since the pandemic began. Again, about changing the perspective, of looking for the silver linings, of the blessing of being able to be with family, to have health, and all the blessings that are ours that come with being part of a great community like Beth Tzedek and the Jewish people, and to live in a great larger community like Toronto and Canada that overall is dealing with this pandemic in such a wonderful way because it's concerned about people. And that's what Soul Brew is too. It's concerned about people, about our nefesh, about our neshama. And the wisdom that we're going to share is not just with Jewish wisdom, but it's wisdom that comes from many voices of interesting people around the world. Most are Jewish, some are not. Most of the experiences might be new and might be a little bit uncomfortable at first when you encounter them. But that's okay. Growth comes from the way in which we respond to discomfort and from the cheshbon hanefesh that we do, that stirs, percolates our souls so that we can grow into better people in the year ahead. So that's what our goal is, a daily dose of Soul Brew, a daily dose of cheshbon hanefesh, of an opportunity for a spiritual checkup, and an opportunity to be inspired towards shleimut, the intersection of mind, soul, and body, leading into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. A couple of very, very special thanks. First and foremost, to Rabbi Rachel Rosenbluth. Bluth, you really took this idea and you ran with it. And we couldn't be prouder of you being a child of Bet Tzedek, a Bat Bayit, who has now joined us as a member of the rabbinate, as a colleague and a friend. You've been with us for the last several years, leading our meditation services for the High Holy Days and participating in other ways. And we really have the silver lining and the blessing of you being here with your family during COVID, so that we've been able to plan and work together to build this wonderful, wonderful experience for our community and for all who find us on the internet that want to have a little bit of Soul Brew. Thank you, Rabbi Rosenbluth. Thank you, Bluth, for helping us create this wonderful, wonderful vision of Cheshbon HaNefesh and of Soul Brew. And look for Rabbi Rosenbluth to join us frequently for Kabbalat Shabbat, for the meditation service for the High Holy Days, and also to partner with Yaakov Fruchter, our Director of Community Building and Spiritual Engagement, for the short and sweet service these High Holidays as well. And we want to thank all the members of Bet Tzedek, but especially those that have contributed to the Center for Spiritual Well-Being. This program, this opportunity to bring people from around the world and to move forward into Cheshbon with a little bit of spiritual accounting, spiritual checkup, and Soul Brew is made possible by the Center for Spiritual Well-Being at Bet Tzedek. With that, I want to wish you a Shana Tova U'Mituka, and I want to wish you an enjoyable journey, an uplifting journey, an inspiring journey as we go through this process of preparing for the High Holy Days, of Cheshbon HaNefesh, of spiritual checkup, and of Soul Brew. We hope that you'll participate and engage with us. Hashtag BT Soul Brew. Share your thoughts after each and every session. If you have a list of silver linings, if you keep a list of lessons that you've learned through life, use the comment on social media or send us an email and let us know what was the lesson, what was the silver lining that gives you hope and comfort and inspiration at this time of Rosh Chodesh Elul as we start moving towards the High Holy Days. And at the end of each session, you'll be asked a question and the hashtag BT Soul Brew so that you can share your Soul Brew with us as well. Thank you and Shana Tova.
We will build this world from love.